Good day, my wonderful and amiable listeners. I bring to you another news. The news headline: Buhari failed in his 3 core campaign promises, Yerima said. The news in full. Yerima is an activist and president of Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, AYCF. In this interview, he expressed certainty that the 2023 election would hold, even as he lamented President Muhammadu Buhari's failure to keep his campaign promises. There is no period we have never faced challenges towards election time. From 1999, we have been having the same issues here and there. There was tension everywhere. In fact, the 1999 own was defined as the coming together of saying something like, "Look, let us do something that will appease the Southwest." I was young then, and I remember vividly again when the same thing happened in 2003, where President Olusegun Obasanjo lost his ticket and had to go down on his knees and beg. History tells us that every election comes with its own challenges. Today, of course, it is about insecurity. So for me, anybody that imagines there won't be an election must be living on their figment of imagination, because elections will certainly hold. I am very optimistic election will hold, but whether elections will be fine or not, I do not know. In the interview, Yerima was asked, how does he assess the change mantra of this administration? He replied and said, "I am worried because the slogan for the government of today is addressing insecurity, secondly, corruption, and the third is revamping the economy. These are the 3 cardinal points for this government, but in terms of economy, the government is neither here or there. There is nothing to write home about. In terms of security, it is even the worst time since the history of Nigeria. In terms of corruption, the kind of corruption we are experiencing in this country has never been experienced since the history of this country. This is the worst of it. They fail in both angles and bothered because it involves security, which is one of the main primary responsibilities of every responsible government, but today the reverse is the case." He was also asked, the federal government has spent a lot of money on security without anything to show for it. What is your take on it? He replied and said, "People ate the money and nobody is even asking questions. Unfortunately, those saddled with the issues of security have made it appear as though it is a form of business where the more people die, the more they make more money. If we continue to operate in this manner, we might never get it right. Money keeps going into the hands of the wrong people and they quash the money without giving account of it. Besides, even when there was no security issues, someone somewhere might just go and arrange with bandits just to create a problem so that money can start to come in, and that is why there is so much money in the hands of the security people." He was also asked what is his take on the ongoing clamor for generation shift ahead of the 2023 elections. He answered and said, "The truth of the matter is that power is about people becoming determined and getting it right. The older generation will definitely not fold their hands for us to take it, and that is why people like me work around the clock to sensitize our generation about power. Some of our leaders today have been in power for years, some as commissioners, ministers, even when they are in their 30s. But today, even at our age, they still abuse our sensitivities by thinking we are too young to know what power really is. Some of them have been in power for 50 to 60 years. For someone like me, it's about the new order." He was also asked what the new order is. He answered and said, "The new order is about generational shift. I have worked around with some of my other counterparts across the world to ensure that this becomes a reality. This is my field. I spend my whole time on this, drawing the attention of our generation, and we need to get it right by strategically empowering our young minds to take over from the older generations. I keep pitting myself and encouraging us to get it right in 2023. It requires a lot of effort and all-inclusiveness of all counterparts abroad so we can build something tangible." He was also asked that money is key to the success of all this, and most students have the war chest to run for election. How do we go from there? He replied and said, Once there is a movement and having who and what we agreed on, some of us are well to do and can collectively contribute to without relying on the old generation to bring in capital. Some of us can contribute to get it right. President Muhammadu Buhari, before he came to power, did not have money. But some of the capitalists who believed in him came together and made it happen. We too should be able to bring one of our own, protect him, equip him, and eventually people will believe in him. He was also asked, who are those you think you can sponsor? He answered and said, the journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with a step. Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State is one. He is doing well. I am not from Kogi State, but I have gone there to see a few things that are on ground that the governor is doing. He has received a lot of castigation from people who do not know much about what he's doing. Adamu Galba, Omoyele Sowore are also younger elements who have foresight for this country. We must look round to see that one of our own gets there. He was also asked that one garment issue is that of zoning power to the south. What is your take on this? He answered and said, we have come a long way that zoning should not be an issue, but today it is. Let's look at coming up with competent people and leave the issue of zoning aside. Zoning has not paid anybody at all. It should be about people who has the capacity to build a better nation. If you talk about zoning, does a party like People's Democratic Party, PDP, has the moral right to zone presidency to the south again? What has the arrangement of the People's Democratic Party got to do with the All Progressive Congress, APC? If APC comes up with Buhari for northern extraction, what is the business of the PDP? Having former President Goodluck Jonathan from the South who enjoyed his own term and the power of incumbency. If we respect the power of zoning, Jonathan wouldn't have contested in 2011. If you look at 16 years of PDP, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua spent only 2 years before his demise. If you look at it from history, you will know that there is no justice with the issue of zoning. My concern is that we should make it open for people who comes out and cast their vote. I am not against the Southwest coming with their candidate. If they choose Bola Ahmed Tinubu as their hero, let them put him forward. If Niger Delta consider Jonathan as their hero, let them bring him in. The North too will have to look inward. But certainly, as our own part, we cannot bring or parade any old person. Anybody who raises an old candidate in the North, we will vehemently deny him and we will mobilize against it. He was also asked what is his own definition of old. He answered and said, my own definition of old is somebody who is above 60 getting to 70. We cannot continue to spend our taxpayers' money to manage the health of someone who is weak. Ordinarily, if someone gets to the age of 70, he is supposed to retire and allow his first son to take charge of things in a normal family setting. It is selfish to want to manage the destiny of over 200 million Nigerians as at that age.